You gotta be freaking kidding me. JJ Abrams is back writing and directing for Star Wars Episode 9. I personally think this is a terrible move on their part. They could have gotten anyone else for the job, but they chose the same guy who rehashed for Episode 7. Now, I mean, I kind of like the movie, but let's be honest, it is... I mean, here's the thing. While it does do the whole rhyme thing that George Lucas set forth, they do it too blatantly, especially the Death Star scenario, all over again, beat for beat. And with that in mind, you can understand why people are cautiously optimistic going forward for even Episode 8. I mean, we see a new AT-AT. I mean, it looks identical to the old ones on Hoth, and the scenario looks the same too, with like speeders heading toward them. They're gonna have to find some weakness to exploit or something. But now we hear that the same guy who directed that rehash is coming back for Episode 9. Get ready for Return of the Jedi 2.0. Yeah, you can understand why people are cautious going forward. But, you know, it's not all doom and gloom. I do hope he can redeem himself with this movie. I hope that he can move away from the whole rehash thing, because that seems to have been his style for a long time. I'm hoping that he can explore new territory here. Maybe this could be his new and original thing. I don't know. Look, I mean, here's what I want to see. I just want the New Republic involved. Because, I mean, in Episode 7, we didn't get them at all. They were only mentioned and seen once when their capital blew up. I mean, that's it. And I think it was crappy, because now we're stuck with Rebel Alliance 2.0 instead of the New Republic, which it should have been, just straight up New Republic military, but now it's the Resistance. I think that's really crappy myself. But they can always bring back the New Republic to come and aid the Resistance, like they join forces against the First Order. I think that would be incredibly awesome. Seeing two different kinds of X-Wings and all these different ships that fight the First Order head on, that would be pretty awesome. To know it's not just Empire versus Rebels again, to know it's an even playing field, sort of like the Clone Wars, where you had the Republic versus Separatists. You know, maybe it could be New Republic versus First Order. That's all I care about. I just want to see New Republic in action, and these movies to not be a rehash. Give me that, and I'll be back on board. You know, I don't care who's directing. If you make it good, original, and bring the New Republic into the fight, maybe a little more politics, then count me in. That's one thing that set me off about The Force Awakens, was it pretty much just hit the reset button on everything. We get, you know, it's like back to a resistance group versus this big evil threat with another Death Star. Han and Leia are back to where they were before Episode 4. Luke is the last Jedi again. You know, the new Jedi, the Jedi Order is not established. They only talk about it having been, but now we're just back to square one, and you know, just etc, etc, or however you say that. It just, Episode 7 was really disappointing to me, but there are some enjoyable factors about it. One thing that I enjoyed, though I think they really missed a big opportunity with, is Finn. How he's like a bad guy turned good. It's like, oh wow, stormtroopers and faceless bad guys really do have a soul. They really are human beings who are capable of making good and wrong decisions. You know, they can have morals, and that's that's a cool thing, but they seem to forget about that very quickly because, I mean, Finn just switches on a dime too. There's no development for it, and then the movie just goes on to them shooting all the stormtroopers and bad guys like they're points in a game. They're just woo, blowing them up, having fun with it. It's like, this was your family, man. You should know better than anyone that these people can be redeemed. At least make some, if you're gonna blow them up, at least have some tragedy to it. You know what I mean? At least have it feel heavy, like you had no other choice. Don't go, whoa, yeah, this is awesome, pew 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 pew, yeah, blowing them up. Screw them. But yeah, I like the idea behind Finn, but the way they went about executing that idea was just awful in my opinion. And not to mention, he's a little too comedic. I mean, he needs to be more tragic, and the actor has an English accent, so why does he have an American one in this film? I say American loosely, obviously they're not from America in the movie, they're from a galaxy far, far away, but I mean, he speaks, I mean, there's really no way around it. Like, he could just, besides saying American and English accents, because that's what we know, right? So, yeah, he could have had an English accent, but whatever, you know, he just seems like a stereotypical, over-the-top character to me. But anyway, Finn aside, and all the characters all aside, I just don't want Episode 9 or 8 for that matter to be a rehash. And JJ Abrams coming back is sort of all but confirms that we're seeing the original trilogy all over again. And obviously doesn't confirm it, but it does. I mean, it's definitely a red flag for us. Now, there's nothing we can do since we don't work for Lucasfilm, but we can only hope that it turns out okay as we watch in horror. Like, no, go that way, go that. Okay. But yeah, anyway, what are your guys' thoughts about this? About JJ Abrams coming back to write and direct for Episode 9? Comment below. I personally think this sucks, but you know, who knows? Maybe it'll turn out to be awesome. I certainly hope so. Anyway, that is all for